Hello. Hamza, can you see me? Can you see me?
Yes, we
Hello,
can see
everyone.
you.
Hamza, Mr. H, can you see me?
Yes, we can see you. Run.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I just had to rush. My apologies for the lateness. I'm doing multiple things at the same time these days. So, wait, let me turn this camera up. Uh, why am I upside down? Wait 1 second. Okay, I'll manage it like this. So, as usual, yeah, welcome to the Mongolo screening.
Oh.
Welcome everybody. I hope you're all doing fine. Where's my earpiece? Uh yeah, I found it. So I'll be using 1 second. Okay, I think I got this other. All right. Uh okay, say hi if you can hear me. Say hi if you can
Hi.
hear me. Oh, okay, nice.
Hi.
Mr. H. Okay, so welcome to the Hunger Screening Show again. Okay, I see people are already sending me messages that they can't. Okay, good evening, Jennifer. Good evening, Cheryl Torres. Okay, so we're here. Um, Once again, I apologize for the lateness. It wasn't intentional. A lot of things came up while I was trying to set up. So, today's issue, this might be the final part. I'm not too sure, depending on how this goes today. But we're still on the topic of our African culture and our African culture and how. Okay, sorry. In a westernized world, is our African culture still relevant? So yesterday we touched on a few things. Majorly, we even discussed child discipline, disciplining children according to African culture. We spoke about names, making sure your children retain their African names for that uniqueness and not changing for anybody. So we touched on a couple of things like that. Today, I want to see where this will take us to. I want to see uh, what we can come up with because we are looking at this to be either the final part of this series or the second to the last part. But either ways, I'll like who came first? Was it okay? I think it was Omolara. Omolara has been here since forever because I saw her waiting. So we are going to discuss. I'm going to give it to Omolara to say, okay, from Omolara, where do you think we should pick it up from today?
It depends on where you ended it. Are you still looking at talking about children and discipline in African culture and compared to
Yeah,
the
we
Western world?
okay. You can touch on it a little because last week Emma was just taking us on a cruise. Emma was taking us on a cruise. So I don't know if she was serious or she was just playing with us. When she allowed children to be themselves, we should not discipline them. Disciplining children is normal. So, okay, since we're not
You're breaking off seriously. You're breaking off seriously. I don't know if it's my end or your end. Hello. Hello. Wow. I thought it's only Nigeria that has bad network. I don't know you have bad network in South Africa too. You're back now. Oh. Ron, I said I didn't know you people have bad network too in South Africa. I thought it was only in Nigeria.
Well, it's not bad network. I don't know. Maybe it's probably it's the internet provider. I don't think it's bad network though.
Oh. Okay. I think the child upbringing part of it is an interesting one, and it's a topic that we need to be talking more about, we as Africans, because the way things are going, our values are almost faded away. And in as much as I agree there are some excessiveness in what our parents did with us, but there is still a lot of values that that we need to try as much as we can to retain, by also putting those values into our children, with the hope that our children will pass it on to their children, and then it goes on and on like that. I'm not a fan of the Western way of bringing up a child. I i um i am a full-blooded Yoruba woman, and the only aspect of bringing up a child that I try to do more with my children is the communication part of it. That's where I think that our parents didn't really master that act, So if I take my upbringing and then I increase my mode and my method of communication with my kids, I believe that I'm going to have the best children ever. But then I can't say because our parents didn't do a good job when it comes to communication with us, and then just say that African way of bringing up children is a no, 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 and throw the whole thing in the bin. And that's what a lot of parents has done, and that's why we have all of these Irole children that we have these days. You know, I strongly advise that parents, because if you look at it really, the traditional and olden yeah, the older Europeans, you see that they also have these values and this culture and this traditional way they believe that children should be brought up, which if you study it very well, it is very, very similar to that of Africa. So that tells you a lot that the so-called westernized world is just heading it's disastrous. I mean, we're seeing the handwriting on the wall already, So yeah, that's just my take. If we can master the act of communication as the act of punishment, which of course is child abuse at when it gets to a certain level, especially the physical aspect of it, of flogging a child and all of that. If we can master the act of not having to do that, though, I'm still of some children just need to be, put straight sometimes, Um, if we can master that, yeah, but as long as you know how to not make it become an abuse, you know. If we can master that act, if we can balance that out, there is so much values that children of nowadays do not have because a lot of parents are throwing away the African culture and values that was instilled in us, you know. So that's just my take though.
Oh, okay. Can you still hear me? Am
Yes.
I breaking?
No.
I'm still breaking. Oh, okay.
No.
So that was a nice one. Okay, good, good. So can you touch on names? Naming your children, give the importance of giving your kids African names.
See, your name is your identity. Whichever way you want to look at it, your name is your identity. It's religiously, traditionally, morally, humanly, whichever way you look at it. There is a reason why even trees has name. There is a reason why even animals has a name. So your name is your identity. So the moment you feel that you have a child that is, for instance, Ron, you and I are married, and then we go and name our child Harrison Svensson. Yeah. Do you understand my point? It's you giving your child an identity that is not his or hers. There is nothing fancy or modern about that. I can understand if you give a Bible name or a Quran name. That's also you being identified with your religion, which is why the moment someone tells you their religious name, you can say, oh, you're a Christian, oh, you're a Muslim, you know. But you notice that, especially with the Yorubas, when we give our Yoruba name, we use church name as either the middle name or the first name. But you hear something like Samuel Olalekan, and then the last name. So that had given you the identity of that person. You need not to ask that, are you a Christian and are you Yoruba? Because through the name is your identity. Through the name, you could tell that, oh, okay, so I know I have my friend, oh, his name is Bello Abdurrahman, whatever, you already know that this person is from the north and is a Muslim, So I strongly, I mean, I believe every African should name their children, give their children at least one African name. You can then add your religious whatnot to it, but the your identity as an African person is very, very important. You're muted, Ron. You're muted. We can't hear you. You are muted. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We cannot hear you. Ron.
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with this. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Mr. H.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think he said I will just continue from where you stopped now because I think he's
Okay.
probably having problems with his audio,
Connection.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe I think it's so what I'm saying, yeah, good day everybody, wherever you're watching from. And we're still touching on the topic which says westernized world, is our African culture still relevant today? Basically, yes, our African culture is still very, very valid today because that is our identity. Like I said the last time, I just don't like this idea of always blaming the Western world for everything that Africans have gone through or what we have gone through. The problem sometimes is we ourselves when we reach out there and we begin to try to lose our identity. And because like as I was saying the last time when we were here, I was talking about marriage. The Western world is the marriage is in church and it ends in church. You never hear a white person doing a traditional wedding before. It's never heard of. So, but you see that in the African folks, if you don't do a white wedding after doing your traditional wedding, it's not the in thing. So, what I'm saying is that we should be able to we should be able to keep our culture. We should be able to keep our culture because that is our identity. And I really agree with you, as you said just now, that that's the reason why birds, or sorry, trees and animal have names, is because of their identity. So we must be able to keep our identity and value them, because most Westerners are inspired by our identity. If we don't know, you know, they are very inspired, or the place we come from, the food we eat, the kind of clothes we wear. They are very, very inspired about it too, because some of them have not seen this kind of thing before. And probably they only see it on movies, they only see it on in the theaters, but they have not really felt it. So it is. I can't say the Western culture has really, really influenced us. No, sometimes we are the one that influence ourselves because now we want to think we are the white people, or sometimes we don't. We are not beautiful in our own skin. That is where the problems comes from. When you're not beautiful in your skin, when you're not contented in the skin you are, you try to begin to imitate other people's culture, other people's things. Just like, let me just give you an example. Let me run through this an example of the bleaching story. When you have the brown skin or you have the black skin, and you are getting a cream to make you whiter and make you somebody you are. That means you don't even value yourself. You're not beautiful in your own skin. So Africans need to be beautiful in their own skin. And I disagree with anybody that say Westerners have influenced, or they have not influenced us in anything, because they have not forced anybody to copy their lifestyle. They've not forced anybody to do their own, the way they do their own thing. We are the one that we are always trying to compete or do what they want, what they are doing, which is very, very, very wrong. So our culture should be upheld. Like, if you like, let me give you an example. Yesterday I was watching a documentary here, and it's called District 6. In Cape Town, we have a place that is called District 6, and it's where it used to be people from South Africans, native South Africans, that used to stay there, and it's close to the sea, it's close to the town. And during the apartheid regime, they came one day and said, "No, this place belong to the white," and they began to break the whole place up, and they vandalized the whole place, and they chased everybody away, and they relocated those people who were living there into another place called the Manningberg. Now, so as I was watching it, they have a museum now in that District 6 in Cape Town here, where you can see all what really happened, all the culture and everything is being preserved in that District 6 museum, and they explain it. And you see, but people all over the whole world come to that District 6, come to that museum to learn about what really went down during that era, why the white, the black, and the colored people, sorry, when I say colored people here, colored people is half caste. The colored is the half caste. That's how we call them in Nigeria, but here they call it colored people. Why the colored people and the black people were taken from, forcefully taken from that land. So what I'm saying is that we need to preserve our culture. We need to preserve where we come from, our heritage. And I'm very, very proud of people when I see them in Cape Town here that are dressed in our attire, that do things in our way, because here they have different kind of society, this different kind of social club. And you see, every time they are having their meetings, they won't do masquerade here too. They do this masquerade thing here, this masquerade, they do it, and it's very, very encouraging to see that we are preserving our culture. And you see other white people come around, and they look, they stare, and they want to know about it. So we should be able to preserve our culture. Nobody should say that the Westerners have this is the modern age. So at least now we know our left from right, we know our right from left. So nobody should say that they've westernized our culture. We are the one that's supposed to preserve it. And some of us are at fault. We Africans, we want to become like the Europeans, Even like I was saying the last time on the show, one of my literature teacher that came on Facebook and was now trying to teach people diction, trying to teach people literature. Then I said to him, I said, sir, this thing you are doing is very, very wrong. Have you seen a white man coming to teach us Yoruba on Facebook before, or coming to educate people on? But you are coming here to educate us on English. That is not. Why don't you come? You're a proper Yoruba man. Why don't you come and teach us diction in Yoruba so that people can, why are you coming to teach us English? And he got annoyed with him. I said, well, that is the truth. That's my own opinion. So my own opinion is that we should be able to value our culture. In Nigerian, I'm giving Nigeria as an example now. We should be able to build more museums. We should be able to let our children read and write. It's either Igbo, Hausa, or Yoruba. Like I said the last time, if you pick a South African phone, a person, average South African, you cannot read what they are writing, because they are always writing, communicating in their language. Even on their WhatsApp chat, if you take their phone, you cannot interpret it, because they make sure that each of all the children here, they know how to communicate in their language. How many of us can communicate in Igbo or in Yoruba fluently, like WhatsApp message in Yoruba? How many of us can communicate in Hausa, in chatting with it? So these are the things. It's and sometimes we need to be ashamed of ourselves that we cannot do this. We know that our parents, they tried our best, but sometimes I don't think we Africans, we are beautiful in our own skin, and it's very, 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 very sad. And we shouldn't blame the Westerner for it. We shouldn't blame anybody for it. We should blame ourselves for not preserving our culture, and not being happy with our culture, and not being beautiful in our own skin. As I told you, give an example now, where people will go and buy cream. You're an African, you go and buy cream to be
Sorry,
white.
Mr. H. Sorry,
Yes.
Mr. H. If I may just cut in there.
No, it's all right.
So it's funny you mentioned the bleaching thing, because I'll
Yeah.
tell you what has happened today. So
Okay.
this evening, I picked my
Yes.
phone and I was going through my timeline on Instagram,
Okay.
and I noticed that in like every 1 minute
Mm.
thereabout, there is an advertisement advertising a bleaching cream.
Yes.
It was so much that I couldn't stand it. I then sent it to Buki. I'm like, Buki, because Buki and I do all this. Buki and I are seen as the old agad people on Instagram, the old-fashioned people, and all of that.
Yeah.
So I then sent a video of a regular Nigerian woman that they have used. That the lady was speaking and was saying that she started using their 90,000 naira kit in
Yeah.
February. Then look
Mm.
at the transformation. Two things hit me there: the money that is being put into this, and the fact that this woman, a regular market, I think she was selling pepper or something. Later run, I'll share the video with you. That Buki and I then came to the conclusion that, okay, we'll do late life tonight and discuss these things. That which where do you draw the line? Which one is beautification of yourself as a woman, and which one is self-hate? Because for me, just to buttress what you're saying, there is nothing any human being can tell me on earth that justifies bleaching. There is no way. Call it whatever name you want to call it. It's self-hate. And the moment I see that you're bleaching, I do not expect you to make any sense out of your mouth. Because the thing is, why will I look like I look today? And then in 3 months' time, I have a mixed blood child. What do people call them? Colored people. And then in three,
Yeah.
4 months today, then I look like my daughter in complexion. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense. And the sad part of it is that bring out 10 Nigerian women, 8 out of them, no, sorry, they don't call it bleaching. They say they want their skin to glow. That's the word. And then of course what they're doing is they are bleaching their skin. So what sort of how can you then come and say that it is the West that is influencing you? And not only that, the sort of money that they spend on this thing. While I sent the video to Buki, before she responded, I'd seen another video that is advertising what to use on your knuckles to make your knuckles clear off. While we're discussing that, then there is another, I've seen another advert that is talking about black soap that will glow you in 12 days. All in the space of about 5-10 minutes.
Can you people hear me?
So you even see
Yeah,
that the
and
media
yes,
is throwing,
yeah, we
yes,
can
we
hear
can
you
hear
now,
you.
Ron.
The media is throwing these things at people's faces. That's why you see all these young girls in secondary school or freshers in university. They are all running and killing themselves to get money to glow their skin. You know,
Yes,
all of these
yes,
things we need to speak about it the more because it has somewhat become the norm. The part that pains me most really is when I see a parent do it.
yes.
Because
The
then,
thing is that
because
yeah,
then what morals are you setting for your
the
children?
yes, the thing, yeah. The thing is that as I rightly said, the thing is that it's we Nigerians, we really need to begin to. I think we need to, like you say you're going to do a show very soon. Maybe you're going to. We need to begin to pull ourselves along and begin to educate ourselves to take, because yeah, this thing you are saying now, what I think it was on the radio last week when I was going for work. They were talking in a South African radio too. They were discussing the same thing you said just now about bleaching, and they brought an expert, and the expert was saying, "Look, this thing you are doing," which was, well, I'm not into sciences, but she was just mentioning some chemicals that are used that can really, really damage the skin. Why you see people have, at the end of the day, they end up with skin cancer and things like that, and
Yeah, a lot of
mostly
them, they don't care. They
they
see it.
don't.
They've seen people end
Yes,
up
and
having
yeah,
an accident, sorry, and they
yeah,
rush them to the hospital and they die because they couldn't sew their skin back or glue their skin back because they've bleached the skin to the last layer of it. So,
yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
it's all shades of risk. It really has to be self-hate. That's the only
Yeah,
word
but
I believe.
but this is what we are still talking about. People are still going to blame it on the Western world. That is it. Because sometimes, as I said to you now, sometimes we are not true to ourselves as in Africans. We are not even true to ourselves as people that we are. We don't respect ourselves, and we don't see ourselves in that light. Because I stay with the white folks here. Where I stay here, at least probably just only two blacks. It's over maybe 200 apartment, only two black. And I see the way these people live. I see these people, the way these people live. These people live like they live a simple life and they don't do over themselves. And that is why you can even see our country, take our country for an example. Upon all the money we have, upon all the intellect we have, upon all the smartness we have, it's still 0/10. We don't have good roads, we don't have this, but just because of this, because sometimes you see that we are not beautiful in our own skin, we're not beautiful in our culture. And let me tell you something. Somebody posted something about Nigerian music biggest in the world. If you and let me tell you something. Because of this thing, if you come to this place, we can add to run. There is no South African person that you will mention Davido, Burna Boy, Whiskey, and all this or Malay to them that they don't know. They can see it word for word. If you ask them about Mr. Ibu, they know Mr. Ibu. Ask them about Aki and Popo, they will tell you all this. Ask them about Emanuela, they know everything. These people, they salute us in all this light because they see that we are special people. But some people, we don't. Well, we're sorry to say, we don't think we are special in our own place, but we are very special, and we need to please, ma, if you're gonna go do your this thing later, please, you need to pull people, especially women. Nigerian women. We need to, or women in Africa, and we need to pull ourselves together to tell them, look, you people need to be beautiful in your own
Mr.
skin.
H, sorry, don't waste your saliva. They have
But I believe
already, one will tell you, they will not join the women. And when they join, they are coming to abuse us. But we will still do our own.
yes,
See,
yes, at least,
this
yeah.
generation, my generation is already lost. We're doing all of this for the generation that are upcoming, so that they will know that this thing is not right. Do you know,
Mm.
can you turn off the AC for a while, please? Do you know that some of these people are even bleaching their children, 2 years, 1 year, newly born? They are
Who does
rubbing
that?
bleach. Nigerian women. I hope I've answered you. It was an issue on social media at one time. One of them came out and says none of their business. She can do whatever she likes with her child. Is God is
But
not a thing.
that's
God has
wrong.
given scientists brain to come up with it. The same way they rationalize all these uh surgeries they do
Yeah.
with themselves and all of that. So they will not listen. It's not because so, but they won't listen. We are doing as so that the word is out there, so that these young children would not see this as the right thing to do and as the right way to live. I tell you, I'm sure you know yourself, even your friends' wives, you will see them this month now. There may be somebody's father is turning 70, 9 months
Mm.
after you come. You cannot recognize your own family friend again. Is that bad? They make parenting very difficult,
Yes,
because
because even
you are preaching the right thing, and then in your social circle, six or more than 70% of the mothers in your social circle are using this bleaching cream. Do you know that they've made your parental work 100 times more difficult? Because the society rubs off on everybody at the end of the day.
yeah,
At the end
because
of the day, I remember years
yeah,
ago, I even until recently, I used to have this argument with my daughter. She said, but my friend's mom said, my friend's mom did. And I keep telling her that, young woman, are you okay? Your friend's mom, is her name Omolara? Is she from Ibadan? Is she an agripreneur? If she does not fall into all these categories, don't ever come to me and say my friend's mom is not a big deal. My friend's daddy did. My friend, and this is how why our society had become what it had become today, because the parents has lost all the values, and then the children has is what they see. I mean, I know you talk to them and all, but to a certain extent, children will do what you do. They don't do what you tell them,
yeah,
do they?
but can I just keep in something? Are we like what you said now? You're correct. Are you saying it's inferiority complex? Because why I'm saying this is that if if I'm just giving an example, if a half caste like we call colored here goes to Nigeria and you have a
Actually,
Nigerian,
the correct wait.
yeah,
Hamza, the
They are
correct
not
term is
outcasts, but they
actually,
are mixed blood,
well, the correct term is called mixed race.
no,
mixed
I'm
race.
just saying a layman to understand. People are watching.
Uh,
Some people don't
then,
know what I
well,
call it.
well,
Let's
the
correct the
political.
narrative. I correct people. For the past 18 years, I've been correcting Nigerians that my daughter
Yes.
is not half caste. She's a mixed race. I keep
Mixed
Yes.
correcting
race.
people,
No,
even
people,
my
people
domestic staff.
yeah, like my daughters now. When you see my daughters, people are saying that somebody is asking me in Nigeria, "Oh, are you your daughters, their mother, are they white?" I said, "No, they are not white. That's South African, and it's not even mixed South African. It's just the normal South African." People find it very very hard to believe, And in this thing, as you're saying, you are very very right because this thing has really affected our society to the bone marrow. That's people are
Let
being
me
if you
tell
are
you
not
what our problems are as
mm,
Nigerians in regards to teaching. And I'll be speaking for both female and male. um Women are wired, most women, 99.9% of women are wired to want to do what they believe men likes. I start the blame with my Yoruba brothers, because as far back as when I was just a teenager, when Yoruba men want to describe a pretty woman, oh, they will say she's so yellow, she's light skinned like fresh tomato. And this is where the problem started. When a girl that is light skinned and a girl that is dark, well, the two of them are working. If they have 4 toasters, 3 out of the toasters is going for the yellow girl.
that's true. That's
So
correct.
our men has a lot of contribution to where we have found ourselves today. Even musicians sang about it while I
Mm,
was in school. Ijo yo
mm,
yo,
Mm,
Yo-yo means
mm.
yellow woman, you
Yeah,
know.
that's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. And that time everybody started running
You still
they
remember
were
that
buying the
song?
soap. Uh-uh. What's that woman's name? She died.
Salah
They
Benny.
went, they were buying the cream from, if you don't have money, you buy from Ghana. If you're a big girl, you buy from Paris.
Hmm.
So this was where our problem, this
Mama,
was
you
the
still
beginning
remember
of the end.
Ijoyoyo?
I remember Ijoyoyo very well, very, very well, you know. So this is one aspect of the problem that we have. The second
Mm.
aspect of it is because our society had produced women that does not have that peer pressure affects a lot, and they do not have self do you call it self-esteem, you know, because I have never been influenced by the crowd. I do what I believe is right. I stand on my point that this is what is right or this is what is not right, you know. So that's the second problem that we have. The third problem, the third one that now finishes everything, pata pata, you know, is your so-called yeye British and what they push, how they have changed the narrative. And that is why, for these three reasons, we need to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Okay, we have learned, see where he has brought us. So we need to relearn, unlearn, and then relearn in all aspects of our lives, really, especially when it comes to we, because the way we are going, you know, this same thing is what goes into the so-called nonsense feminism that they're doing. So I have all these male friends that are in the UK, in the US, and they'll rather go with a white woman than go with a Nigerian woman or an African woman, because the white woman still understand the concept of marriage and relationship. They don't have a problem cooking for their family. They don't have a problem respecting their husbands or their boyfriends.
What was the
Sorry, what was
problem?
that?
I don't want to make those people come attack attack me. I beg.
You know, but the black women, they will still be doing, no, if he's not giving 70, I'm not giving 30, you know, you understand. So these are the issues that we need to unlearn and then relearn, that there is nothing. I'm not saying that men don't overdo it in some instances when it comes to how they treat their wives and their women, but there is a reason why. You see, life, the way life is, it's a structure, and the moment you start trying to scatter the structure and restructure it to suit you, this is why we are having most of these problems that we are having, you know. So I just believe that we should just, in everything there is the good and there is the bad, we should sift our culture, our beliefs, our value. Take out the ones that are excessive. Like I said earlier, the abusing, you know, when they, those days when they grow up now, they will say, oh, because you didn't finish your homework on time, 24 strokes of the cane. That is an abuse. But it does not stop you from punishing your child. You didn't finish your homework on time. So that means that no playtime this weekend. That means that you are on time off. That means that you're grounded, you know. But taking away discipline and punishment completely is, it's, you are just ruining, you are destroying yourself and the child. That's what it means. The same thing as there is nothing wrong with you using scented oils on your skin, going for massages and stuff. But the moment you start changing the shade of what your skin look like, is not only that you're not happy with yourself, you are hating yourself. It's self-hate, because there is a side effect to it, whether you like it or not. Even if you live to be 100 years old, there will still be the side effect of it. If you look back to some of our aunties that time that used to dance yo-yo and they used to go out while we have to stay home, if you look
I'm a
at them now,
sexy. I'm a
yeah,
sexy. Do you
yeah.
know that? Okay, I'm not supposed to say. You know that one of my artists is on that video.
Oh, okay. If you look at them now and you look at their friends that did not turn to yo-yo, you see that they look like 20, 30 years older than that their friend that did not tamper with her skin, which is why they say blacks don't crack, you know. So all of these things we need to unlearn and then relearn in our women. of our generation. This one actually is not the Gen Z generation. This is from like once you are like in your 30s up to like your 50s, and it's something that we need to collectively do, not just the women. Because I'll tell you the truth, most of these women, they will come out and say, I'm doing it for myself, it makes me feel good. Now lie. They're doing it for because they believe that that's what the men want. That's just it. All of this kirakita karakata, not drinking water, no they keep cup that women are doing. It is because of the men. So the moment the men to start talking about it, that I cannot stand a woman that is bleaching her skin, and they're not only talking about it, they're actually acting it. You will see how the rate of bleaching will drop drastically. I'm telling you.
Oh, wait, oh, well, how about men? How about men? Because we all see this. How about men from the eastern part of Nigeria and Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo,
So that one is
who
a
also bleach?
part of that one is a psychological thing from colonization. That one is different. Their case in Togo and what's that other country
I
is
don't think I
different.
don't think it's colonization. I just know. I just
It
that is what I
is.
disagree
No,
with.
I've
No,
lived. No,
I
no, Mr.
disagree with
A.
you, man.
I've
I
lived with
disagree.
them. Those people.
No,
Those
I
people.
disagree with you because no, there's nobody. I used to, as I anywhere I go, I used to tell people there is no adult or anybody that does not know the difference between left and right. So it's choices.
It's not about knowing the difference
It's
between left
choices.
and right.
It's choices. No, it's
No,
choices. I used to tell people,
no,
don't you know the difference between
no.
good and bad? They
You're
say,
getting it
that's
wrong.
why you doing
No,
bad.
no.
No.
With all due respect to Togolese that are watching, you cannot compare a Togolese person to a Nigerian. You see, francophone countries, they are completely different from anglophones.
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
completely different from anglophones. They damage
In fact, the
the Frank,
Congolese do this too.
if the damage they did to them. Do you know that up until today, their central bank is in France? Those people are not, they don't have independence. They are still in slavery. Do you know that France still determines how much they spend and how they spend their money as a nation? That's another conversation for another day with facts and statistics to back it up. When we're talking about Africans, leave francophonies on one side, leave with the anglophones on the other side. Say whatever you want to say. We are not on the same page. Those people are still, they have been colonized to their bone marrow. It's so bad until you live amongst them before you will understand it. If if
Okay, sorry. I want to bring in Ifeanyi. He's been waiting since. I don't know if you see. Ifeanyi, are you still there?
No, I'm still here. I'm just
Okay,
listening.
okay, okay. Sorry, we just had to allow Omolara express herself completely. Then we'll come to you. Then we'll still come back again to Omolara. Sorry, to be fair on all
Yeah.
sides. So, what do you think about this? Now, 2 points have been brought up: the bleaching. Okay, yeah. Let's start with the bleaching and colorism.
I don't think I have a whole lot more to. I don't think I have anything to critique. I just well, I would like to swing this conversation in a bit of a very interesting way from both of what you guys have raised. Is it will be nice for this forum if we can answer what is it to be African,
Mm-hmm.
because the
Mm-hmm.
if we are having to define identity and we're having to deal with issues of what we are doing because we're copying or because of what we feel was better than what we have, it's important that if we are to re-educate children, we need to understand what is it to be African. What if I ask you today, what is African? What makes you African? Because that's going to also be the basis of what you will sell to the world. If I wanted to present and say I'm African, what are the values? What does Africa stand for? There are times in Pan Africanism we stood for strength, we stood for truth, we stood for a society that valued truth, that valued morality. So we stood for a society that valued a whole lot of things. So I think the discussion today, the question I have for you panelists is, if I ask you and I stop you on the road and ask you, what does it mean to be African? Because that will define our culture and then bring our relevance. That's my thought. So far so good. I can't define it, but I know that there are things you do not move. I always tell people that you cannot. In fact, I was talking to my wife and she said something very interesting. It is important to know that whenever people make phones or new cars or new softwares, they never take it back to the old one. They never say, we did this model, so this model should go back to that model. They can copy it, but they never go back to that model. But they bring out something. The phone has new softwares that also you not have to put the hardware in it. So what we're trying to preserve is the hardware so we can always remember where we're coming from. But in doing that also, let us not forget that whatever children that are born now are equipped for this time. So they came with something that we don't have. So the only difference between us and them is what we now need to pass to them are the tenets which remain true, are the tenets which remain there. Truth is truth, lie is lie, fair is fair, kind is kind, strong is strong. And the things that defined Africans from top of the continent, Dahomey, Songhai, to Mansa Musa, even up to come to Shaka Zulu. They might not have been amazing people, but they were leaders, they were things. So until the African continent
So
can
these are
harness those things. Say again. Ogaran.
so these are
I think it's
constants.
hanging. Yeah, it's hanging.
As in that those things are constant, things we could stand for, that we knew that we represented when we went outside, we represented our family, we represented who we are. Those are things that we stood for, and because of that, we couldn't afford to misbehave. Those are things that you know from an African home. If if I walk into your house or my mother walks into your house, I know without being asked, you will get up and greet her. It's not because you cannot sit down and greet her, but you understand what I mean. There are things that are built into you, things that have reverence for the elders, respect, wisdom. You listen. So those are the tenets which we are missing now. It is not really. I can't really go to speak to things that we're now doing to copy. Those are still the mundane things. I think this topic always, what is pointed at me in this topic is, I'll ask again. If you and Mr. H can answer, or anybody can answer, it's fine. You can come on and answer. What does it mean to be African today? If I ask you, what makes your identity African? And that's how you're going to sell that thing that makes us African. How can you sell it to the world?
You want me to define that? Or
Yeah, you can give it a shot. I just
You,
need
you
us
can
to
you
talk
can give
about
it
it.
a shot.
yeah,
What
if
does it mean to
somebody
be
should
African?
stop me and ask me, what does it mean to be African? What I would say it's what it means to be African is to be from the black continent. That's number one. And the language I speak, the food I eat, it's what makes me African. Because you can't go to the sea and ask the fishes what are they doing there, because that is their natural habitat. So I'm being African because this is my habitat. This is where I am emancipate from. My black skin makes me an African. The language I speak makes me an African. The ethnic group I come from makes me an African. The food I eat makes me an African because people in Europe don't eat the food that I can eat. The language I can speak and the way of life, our technical know-how, if it is our own way of doing things, that's what really makes me an African. How to solve my own issues in my community, that is my own Africa. That's me being African. Especially my food, the food I eat, my skin color, my ethnic group, my and then my family background. That's what really makes me an African. And I'm from the African continent. That's what makes me belong to the African race. That's how I can answer that. If anybody should stop me on the road.
Not bad. Well, I can attempt, right?
Yeah.
It's
If
just
I are you there?
yes, I'm here. I'm just pivoting the conversation so we can get to the meaty thing. So you can attempt. It's good. so we can pick
Yeah,
out some things.
I agree with everything is said, and I'm even going to add more to it by saying um, I like to see myself as uh, one of the members from the race, which is a dominant gene. When I say dominant gene, I'm happy the scientists have come out to say that okay, this melanin pumping people in this black continent were actually the first set of human beings created. Now, this is not me saying this, this is scientists saying it, and it, not necessarily any pastor that put it in my head. It's science now. And the mere fact that if a black person and any other race should cross and the product is always, most times, is always considered as black, shows something that is original and genuine. Because when I look at ourselves as athletes, I see ourselves as entertainers. Well, they fall under entertainment, but I look at the kind of talent and strength, and this is what makes me go at loggerhead with people who keep saying that the Caucasian race are smarter than people members of the African race. It's not like they are smarter. It's like if you get early exposure to certain things, the chances are you are more likely to excel at those things. But I think if you put everybody on the same level ground, expose them to the same information, you just might notice the difference, and this is what makes me proud as a black person. I'm also proud of my rich culture and heritage. Um, I am not ashamed to dress like where I come from. I speak my language. I'm even recently I'm even teaching my children my language because I'm generally proud of. Oh, finally, Candy is here.
Sorry.
Welcome, Candy.
Hi. Sorry. I had physical therapy today, so
Hello,
What
Candy.
happened to you? What happened to? Oh, your clients. Okay, okay.
no, no,
Your
no, no.
patient.
I had physical therapy. I'm not a physical therapist. I went to have physical therapy.
What happened to you?
I was in a
You
car.
look so beautiful today.
I was in an
Wait,
accident about a month ago.
wait.
Sorry.
Sorry, sorry, Candy.
And we're just hearing it today for the first time.
Wow.
And you're busy building coffee tables, outdoor chairs, and all those carpentry stuff, and nobody knew you had an accident.
Well, I mean, I've not really slowed down much since, but
Wait. Let's see if this thing is bad enough news. Did this involve the Tesla?
no, it did not.
Okay, thank God. At least the news is not that bad. Uh, no, I'm not saying not that you're not important. It's just that I must enter that Tesla whenever I come to the US. So it's okay. So it's fine. It's fine. We thank God that you're okay. So, but what made you go for the physical physiotherapy?
Neck and back pain.
Wasn't there the ambulance guys weren't they there to check and scan you and all that for internal injury or any
Well,
fracture?
when it happened, I was rear-ended, so I
Did you
actually
have
didn't think.
the whiplash?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
When it first happened, I didn't think anything happened to me because I felt fine. But then, like,
Yeah, that's
I started feeling the pain later.
that's a whiplash will do that to you.
Yeah.
That's
oh,
it's
When it happens, the adrenaline and all that, you don't feel it, and then hours later, you start to feel it.
yeah, but a whiplash will definitely do that to you. And you're right to actually go for therapy.
yeah.
Did you go to see a chiropractor, or was it just physical therapy and just
Yeah,
massage?
I'm considering seeing a chiropractor too.
Yeah, you should. The whiplash will do that to you. A lot of people don't realize how dangerous it is because you walk away fine. You walk away fine, and then
Yeah,
later on you start to feel the pains.
yeah.
Oh, sorry about
So
that. We
sorry,
didn't
so
know.
sorry about that.
Sorry
So sorry
about.
about that.
In fact, while we are at it, Abby and Habby are going through hell in the UK. Apparently, the heat wave is messing with them badly.
Yeah, that's what I
Yes,
keep
yes.
hearing about.
Um,
Heat wave
Yeah,
and
someone showed me
yeah,
a temperature of 39 somewhere in the UK,
that's
temperature of
it's
high.
39.
40.
That's
40.
high, man. That's
So I
high.
was speaking with Habi. Habi, if Habi was about to drive out of the house just so that the breeze will cool her skin. She can't even sit in one place. It's that bad for her. She says she can't breathe well. She's feeling certain ways. Then I called Abby. Abby too, the same thing. She's like, she has been soaking all her clothes in the bucket just to put them on top of herself to get
Wow.
cooled, just to cool her down.
Because houses don't have AC, right? Because they're not usually this hot.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, yeah, they're not usually this hot, so you don't. It's more like you're fitted. You come fitted with a heater. Even here in Canada, most of your houses come. The heater is standard, and AC is a luxury. So Alberta is known for that. Like you've seen temperatures go from minus. Last year we had what minus 40s, and then right now it's 29 degrees. So you can see
Oh.
you see that thing can drive you crazy. So everybody's outside and everybody's naked. We all know why.
Wow.
Then also Dr. Colley was supposed to be here, but he has to look after his mom, his aged mom. I think she had a heart attack or so last week. So
Oh no.
Oh my god.
yeah, but
Oh my god.
according to him, she's stabilizing, so that's good news. And but you can hear from his voice that he's totally exhausted.
Yeah.
He's totally exhausted. You can hear from his voice. Then who again? Bumi is supposed to come, but I don't know. Maybe we are missing ourselves, lost in communication.
No.
Okay, yeah. So, well, that's it. Women, well, okay, Bumi is here now.
Oh.
Hold on.
Oh, okay, she's coming. So, Candy, we're still on the series of the African culture, and
Oh, okay.
interestingly, a lady called Omolara came in, and she threw a curveball, and it was about the bleaching. Why would somebody that is melanin pumping be looking for bleach?
Okay. Wow.
We are looking at does this have to do with self-worth or just brainwashing, general brainwashing?
I think it's because it's been beat into our heads for so long that Eurocentric standards of beauty are what is accept like the anything that looks Eurocentric is what's beautiful.
And by the way, shout out to Candy for maintaining our melanin. Candy, and well, apart from being an exceptionally virtuous wife, Candy is married to a white guy, and she never thought it important to bleach herself. So, shout out to Candy for that. Candy is always leading, blazing the trail in moral leadership and direction. So, Candy is always the person. Anyway,
Run,
back to
run, they'll
what.
soon come for you. They'll soon
So
come for
back
you.
to back to what Candy was saying. Back to what you were saying, Candy.
Well, so yeah, I think it's because, like I said, for the longest time until the whole like for example before like the natural hair movement and all that really came into the mainstream. All we see on TV is like light people. Those are the acceptable, like I said, Eurocentric standards of beauty was what was considered what we're supposed to aspire towards, and that's why
Mm.
people think that they have to bleach themselves to look lighter because they equate light to being lighter to beauty. So yeah,
Wow.
it's gonna take a lot of like unlearning and relearning to like really get out of that mindset, I think.
Mm. That is true. I
Yeah.
totally agree with that. In fact, we all agreed with it. Then, Inachi, sorry, I said, why do I keep calling your brother's name?
Because that's
Ifeanyi,
the one you know.
Yeah, because
That's your
okay,
crossroads.
they all look alike anyway. So if I threw a curveball again, and oh, I think it's Bobby.
My earphones were not working.
Hey,
Hi
welcome back.
guys.
How have you been?
Good, good,
How have
good.
you How have you been?
I've been great. How are you?
So you've been doing good by yourself.
Hi, Booby. Yes, now. Is that
That's
Candy?
nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm going blind. Hi, it's been so long. I know.
Okay, okay, so Bumi, what were we saying? We were talking about what do you call it? We're actually speaking about the African culture and why people kind of feel ashamed,
Why
about their
people what?
culture, feel ashamed of their heritage.
Yeah, that's a big one. I'm
So we're going to take it in parts since you're just joining us because uh, with you know what? Let me start by the first. Since you just joined, right? I'm going to be serious with Bumi so that Bumi will give us direct answers. And make sure you give us the right answers this time around.
oh me.
Yes. Make sure you give us the right answers, okay?
What are you talking about?
Oh God, yeah.
What is going on? I'm so confused.
It's putting Bumi in Who Wants to Be a
Wait,
Billionaire?
Bumi.
Oh.
Mogalo
Okay, so
edition.
okay, so
Who Who Wants to Be a Billionaire? Mogalo edition. With your presenter,
okay,
Ron Moore
so
here.
here's the question. So, Bumi, the question is so that we don't deviate. Is it good for a melanin popping African to bleach? And the options you have so that we don't go too far. A, no, it's disgusting. B, to each his own. C, only God can judge. D, I do not know. Okay, let's
I,
go.
I choose B.
Sorry?
I choose B.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, sir.
Everybody, you heard when I asked her if it's her final answer.
Yeah, Ron, you're looking for trouble. Ron,
Sorry,
you're looking for
Bumi.
trouble.
Sorry, Bumi. I was hoping you were
Wait,
going
wait,
to
wait,
bring
wait.
this.
Is this supposed to be one of those where you choose the answer that's most popular, that's most likely to be popular? I don't watch game shows. I'm
You,
too
you just
serious.
you just lost $500. It's tragic.
Chai! Oh,
At a time like this where there's almost recession in
honestly.
the US, you
Eh?
just lost $500. Well, yeah, I knew you were going to lose. That's why I put the price at $500 because I knew I can't lose money. So tell us on a more serious note. So what do you think?
Um, obviously, I hate bleaching. It's terrible on so many levels. Physically, as you guys know, it causes cancer. Um, psychologically, because the idea behind it is hating your own skin and hating blackness. But just generally speaking in life, I believe you have to walk a mile in someone's shoes before you can judge them. So unfortunately, there are times where, feeding yourself may come before morals and values. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying this is how these people will see it. Because, I mean, what do you say to a woman who tells you that, okay, when I'm dark, nobody's checking for me, but when I bleach, all the men are interested in me? It's always easy to judge the women because this is the same thing with women who wear weaves or who dress a certain way. We judge them, but we don't judge the men who are giving them the signals that this is what they prefer. It's
No,
a bit of a double
we just
standard.
we just exemplified Candy before you came in for her virtues and and steadfastness in remaining
Kelly
African.
don't abuse you.
Despite
No, but
despite all
even
the despite all the
Ron, but
pressures Candy
Ron, but
faces,
even
Candy
at that, to give credit, if you realize the first lady that spoke actually attacked both sides, and actually spoke about the fact how it is. She used the Yoruba guys and said it was the Yoruba brothers. The Yoruba brothers are
It's
part of the
true.
people that caused this
We're
thing
the
because
worst. Yeah,
yes,
they're the worst.
because they out of three, she said out of four ladies, if three are fair, the Yoruba men will go for all the fair ones, and then they will
It's
actually
true.
make the dark one feel she's ugly. And I know she laid that blame on their feet too, as part of the things that are causing it, and just beyond how you want to look. And she mentioned
Exactly.
it as part of, in as much as it's from copying Eurocentric ways of looking, but there's still the other part that okay, yes, like Bumi said, nobody's looking at you until you're now fair. Then I'll be like, okay, that Oyibo one, that's the one I want to go for. That
you're actually
But
even you're actually okay. Sorry,
I
Candy.
was
Let me just say drop this part. Even you are actually right. You are correct in your assessment, but I was more of like looking at the quality and the package. An exemplary person like Candy brings, a
oh
wife
my
of a
god.
slayer, a virtuous woman, and married to a white person, and her melanin is still pumping up to this very moment as we speak. She didn't say let her bleach herself. No, she's proud of who
Yeah,
she
but
is.
you can't.
You're missing the point. That's
Yeah,
why I said you have to walk a mile in someone's shoes. Candy has no
yeah.
reason to do that. Nobody's making her feel that she's ugly. She doesn't need to use her body to make money. But imagine that you're some poor woman in Nigeria, you have 3 kids, your husband died or he left you, and your only prospect is is sugaring, is getting men to pay your way. Now, in
Bumi,
some parts of the world, people are so poor
Bumi,
that they really have no
Bumi,
choice but to do this.
Bumi,
Well,
Bumi, are you aware that this is a Candy moment? What's my
oh,
business with the
sorry.
poor woman I don't know? Is it not Candy I
What are
know?
you
Do I know the
talking
poor
about?
woman? Do I
Why
know
are
the poor
you
woman?
interrupting me with nonsense? I'm trying to make a
Eh?
really good point here.
So the Candy point is
Bumi,
not a good point.
Bumi,
No, it's
No,
not
Bumi,
it's not
because
actually.
Bumi
it's
since
not
Not.
hard for Candy not to bleach her skin. Sorry, compared to
Bumi,
somebody who grew up in Molete in Ibadan and has no prospects. The only thing
Bumi
that she has
since
going for her is the
since
allergies that she's sleeping with. You know,
Bumi
you
since
can't judge
Ron,
people
yeah,
until you
yeah,
walk a mile in
yeah.
their shoes.
Bumi, you're arguing with Ron. Since Ron saw Candy, his brain left the room. Why are you even arguing? Just leave him alone. Just wait till his brain comes back.
Ah,
Ah,
okay.
No, honestly,
Okay,
I
go.
hate bleaching, but you cannot change these things if you don't understand what motivates
again,
people to do them in the
You
first place.
couldn't.
but I'm asking the thing again, even if we have to ask it, is we. I find it hard to relate to what you're saying when you say the poor woman in Nigeria that is having to bleach. Half the time, these things cost money. These guys are spending a ton of money that you could have spent on something else to do bleaching. So it's very hard to relate it when you
Yeah,
tell me it's because of that. It's hard.
but is it today that women are spending money on their looks to attract men? It's not today now. Do you
No,
know how much those wigs
but
cost?
yeah, but that's that. Then it defines the
It's
point of saying the
it's an
poor
investment
woman.
for women. Put it this way, you will be hard pressed to find a woman bleaching who isn't seeing more than one man for money. I don't think women do this to get a husband. They usually do it when they're when they're runs girls, when they're girls about town, when they feel like they need the help of men, and all they have to offer is sexual favors. Most of the time, those are the
Hmm,
girls that do it. It's not girls
hmm.
who come from loving, secure middle class families who are not hungry. Those girls rarely do it.
Okay, you have a point. So the girl from Molete that is going to Bodija Market for Okada and
Exactly.
decides to bleach herself, and now you have you seen these older women that like their skin is not only looks like cancer, but it looks burnt.
It's terrible. Yeah, I grew up in
Have you
Ibadan. I
seen
used
them?
to see that shit. Of course, their
Oh,
knuckles would be black. Even my own stepmother, my father's the woman he married, she
No, but
does it. But what? Yeah,
then it's a fashion statement. If you don't if you don't, when we're talking about soyoyo just now, maybe I don't know, Candy and Bumu wasn't here. I don't know if you know what
Ijo
soyoyo
yo
is.
yo. Oh,
I
Bubi knows
do,
Ijo yo
yes.
yo.
No, I
Yeah.
don't.
So
So yo,
Can you sing?
yes.
Sorry,
all these
wait.
market
Hamza,
women,
wait,
yeah.
Mr. H, wait. Bumi, can you sing the first two verses of Ijo yo yo?
Oh, I didn't know there was a song to it. I just know that we call light skinned people so yo yo in my hometown.
Oh,
You didn't know
The
when
song?
Collington, you didn't know when Collington and CQ Ide Barista were promoting all these things.
Well, I remember their music, but I don't remember the lyrics. But yes, that was around the time when it was really popular.
Yeah, but
What's her name? What's that
Salawa
woman's
Beni.
name? Salawa Beni. She used to bleach as well. It was all the rage then, and it's even more forgivable in that time because we didn't really know how harmful it was. It was just fella that was, dissing them, saying you're not fine, your yash go black, all this. But we didn't even know about skin cancer or all this stuff then.
But I think it was
So
a fashion statement then, It was fashion statement. It was a fashion statement,
yes,
just like
I agree.
it's just like when women put beads on their waist, it's just like a fashion statement. Then with those market women in Eko Dumota and Balogun market, it was a fashion statement that it's just like an in thing then. If you
Well,
don't do yeah.
Mr. H, I won't say I would make a distinction between waist beads and bleaching. Bleaching to me is more like wearing a weave. If it's something that is not naturally African, then you're going a little bit further than just, I mean, waist beads. A lot of people don't know this, but waist beads were actually used as a fertility thing to let you know when you were on your period and when you were ovulating.
oh,
When you were ovulating, yeah, they used to turn you into
really?
something else.
But
Yeah, so
but
How
it's
how
African in origin.
how
It's
can you
African in
say a lot?
origin.
Okay,
statements.
I'll be surprised if people don't know that because that's what it's. Well, let me not
Well,
say
I don't know
anything.
that. I'm just knowing that for the first time. So
Really?
Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
know that.
Maybe
Jesus is Lord.
it's still an event and it's still being used. To be honest, it's still being used in part of family planning. It's also still being
It's also used to
encouraged.
control weight. It's for
Yeah,
weight
Okay.
for a lot of
control.
things too.
Ron, which
It's
one be
been used
weight?
for a
How
lot
does
of
it got to
things.
do with weight again?
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
when the beats let
Just
you know when you're
just
getting
hold on.
fatter.
Nah, lie,
What I
you
wanted
don't
to
carry
ask
on.
is Bumi and Candy going on. I asked the question and Mr. H and Ron attempted to answer it. I just wanted to know what does it mean to be African to you right now? If I stop you and ask you why are you African, what makes you African? What does it mean to be African?
Uh,
Who are you asking? Me or Candy?
Both of you, take a shot at it.
Me?
that's
Yeah, Bumi, take a shot at it.
Oh, sorry. Um. Well, for me, it's the culture. I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually found out that I was adopted when I was 30. When I was 30 years old. So the fear of rejection made me just turn my back on Nigerians. Actually, during that period, and my kids were young as well, and in America, so I really assimilated into white American culture. But about 5 years after, I just was like, "What are you doing? Whether you whether you're a Nigerian by blood or not, you were raised in this place. You were raised like a Yoruba girl. So my values are very, very tied into Yoruba culture, and so for me, that's what it means to be African. Honestly, like if you were raised with African values, then you're African. Even if you were raised in Africa, if you're raised, even if you can't speak an African language, even if your accent is Oyiboish, if you were raised with African values, then you're African. That's what it means.
yeah. I would probably echo the same thing. Like for me, it is about the culture. Yeah, the values I was raised with. So like that's how I think about it. What makes me African?
And it's
In that
So
unfortunate
case,
because a lot of Africans don't really appreciate what it means to have that culture. They really don't get that our culture is so ancient.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we take it for granted. You know, the way they raise us in Nigeria, in different cultures. I don't know about Igbo culture. I can only speak for Yoruba culture. But the things that they believe about how you raise a child, for example, or how you run a house, or how you interact with your neighbors, how you treat guests, how you behave as a guest in someone's house, all these values, right? You learn them from whatever culture you grow up in. But when you grow up in a Yoruba one or an African one, it's usually really, really ancient. It's tried and tested things, and so it's more likely to be correct than a more modern or younger civilization like the American one, for instance. Which is why, like, you see African Americans struggling so hard with poverty, but you can bring a really poor African and leave him in Peckham, and he'll raise a child up, become a doctor. This is the ancient civilization, but a lot of Africans, they don't see it, they don't even appreciate it.
Wow. Okay. So, Candy, where are you right now?
I'm at Target.
You're where?
It looked
I'm
like
at
Target. Don't
I'm
worry.
at Target.
So
I have
sorry,
to
why?
return. I have
In
to
her
return
happy
something.
place. She's in her
Don't
happy
worry,
place.
It is my
Ron.
happy place.
Okay.
Just let
Oh,
it be.
speaking of which,
Okay.
Do you
Why
want me
ask?
to, Bume, do you want me to pick you up some water bottles?
I thought that was Boye. I saw her ask you on your page today.
No,
I've been on Facebook.
I feel like last year you asked also, so I was like wondering if you
Oh,
wanted me to.
okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind, but you know what I really want? That sugar bowl that you promised me.
You know,
I kind of need it.
it
Don't
was
throw
in
it
my
away.
car. It's crazy. It was in my car when I came to see you, and I forgot to leave it over.
Because I almost bought another one, and I was like, but I actually like the one that Candy was going to give to me for free. So I
Yeah,
decided to wait.
don't buy another one.
All right, thank you, my love.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry.
Sorry,
are we
guys.
finished
Can
with
you
it?
guys try to
Sorry,
let
Are we
us
what?
go
done with
next?
the? We're
Well,
done with the kitchen talk. Okay.
it's
Sorry.
So,
okay.
back to what we were
Sorry,
saying.
Mr. Ron. Sorry, I want to say something. I want to piggyback on something that I just asked you, Mr. H, Bumi, and Candy, and for 2 minutes each, you guys exuded so much pride in being African that it's unreal. You showcased how proud you were of your culture. Mr. H spoke about how we were raised. You both spoke about the mannerisms and that. The interesting thing about it is the identity we're losing isn't far from us. Is that we haven't been able to replicate this kind of pride in our young ones.
Hmm.
Recently, last Saturday, a boy shocked me. I used to work with a guy, a boy. His parents are Nigerian. He grew up here in Canada, but his name is EJ, and he played college football. Athlete, beautifully built. In fact, at some point, I had very deep conversations with him. One of the things he told me was he realizes that most times when women here get with him, that they get with him because they see the genes and they think they can replicate it. So they think, yes, because he's built like an athlete,
But that's
he's
all
massively
women
well built.
now.
Hold on,
No, no,
hold on.
no.
But then he now
All
goes
women.
further to tell. No, I realize he struggled, but then he now goes further to tell me that because of that, he noticed that most white girls, forgive my correctness, most white girls that got with him just wanted to have a taste of that. That's why he decided, hey, he will go back to his roots. So he's dating a black girl. Then I went on to ask him what is his experience of being black, and he said that he went to a high school where there were only two of them, two guys in a group of 100, Sherwood Park here, two guys in a group of 100 that were in class that were black in the whole school. And I asked him, has he ever had to defend anything that had to do with him being black? And he said, yes, he was in the college room. They were playing in the high school, as in back room. They had played a game and they were playing. And then one guy kept on hauling insults at black people and calling niggers. And then he said, hey, you realize you can't say that in front of me. And the guy said, oh, you're not one of those type of niggers. And he lost it. Then he lost it and punched the guy. He actually got into a fight. And then his mom was called to school. And his mom berated him at home for fighting. But the woman never mentioned you shouldn't have fought. And the woman never mentioned the issue why you fought. So in other words, like an African mom, she accepted that yes, you should have beat the guy for the reason, but you shouldn't fight outside. But what I was trying to bring out was the fact that we now have to transfer. You see those two minutes of pride I saw you guys being with. Imagine if you ask your child what is it to be African, and she's able to say the same things all of you said. It had substance. But can we replicate it? Now, that's what this Western world requires of our culture. That's why with music we see it beam, in art we see it beam, but we are losing it a bit slowly. Even in architecture, there was a year that a white guy won the design. A white guy among the crowd won the design for African design in architecture. It baffled me. I was like, you, in as much as yes, I know you could have spent time with the culture, but it is something that we own. So until we start to own it, all I'm just driving at is it was amazing to see four of you, four different views, but all of you were the same things. You guys kept on mentioning the thing, values, African values, the values we were brought with. That's what's
If I
missing.
if I
Yes, sir.
it's just like the values that these guys took. Elvis Presley, what's his name? Elvis Presley, Michael Bolton, Eminem, and what's the name of? I've forgotten this guy's name. You see, these are all just like you mentioned. These are white musicians who got popular doing black music, like right before our eyes. They've done it's been
No,
done
no
before. So that issue
well,
of
but if you,
architecture.
mhm.
So
But if
that
you
issue
pick
of
somebody like
okay, if
if
I
you
pick
pick somebody
somebody,
like
yeah.
Eminem, you realize that he's one of those few people that have crossed the lines that you can actually say he's white. Do you realize
No,
that in
if
a
I,
room you probably not say he's white?
wait. If I you do realize that if I put Michael Bolton with white music, with black soul singers like Negro spiritual and soul singers, and allow him to sing with them in a group, you do realize that he easily blended
Yeah, I could agree with that.
easily. And you see the way Elvis did his rock and roll. I'm not saying all white rock and roll musicians sounded like blues singers, but there were times that he sang and you felt like this guy has some black spirit inside him, or how is he able to you know convey the message of the music? So it's back to what I was saying in the beginning, that in my description, that I feel proud because I feel that we are of the race of the dominant gene. Like, I don't know how this I don't know how politically correct again I can say it, but you get the message. So I feel proud about it. I don't feel inferior. If anybody tries to make me feel inferior, the more I become prouder, of who I am. I'm not going to run away from it. But having said that, I need you to read out all the comments now. If I so because normally it was supposed to be Candy,
Right.
but Candy is
Is the show done? Because it's almost done. Because
it's almost
ironically,
done.
I'm actually writing something. I was writing it at
Okay.
work just now. I started, called "How to Con a Continent." Because having said all the things that I just said, we are in a lot of trouble. We Africans are having a major identity crisis right now. Um, and let me give you an example. I mean, listen, I have these spaces I go to on Twitter, and I get to talk to a lot of people. And yesterday or the day before yesterday, I stumbled on one that was just all Africans. And in no time at all, we got into the U.S. versus China fight. And it was ironic because I've been telling somebody else in a different group that I'm in, a group where they have sense, the Africans have they have this deep belief in in the intrinsic goodness of white people. And it's literally a psych up on us, on the entire continent. The average African believes that white people are just inherently nicer than people of color, than Indians, than Chinese, than black people. And there's a reason why they believe this, right? Because when black people, especially Africans, when they watch TV, they see white people don't want to beat their kids. And in Africa, they beat the shit out of us all the time, right? And we're not even doing better than them. They see, and and I'm talking about poor Africans now. They hear about timeouts and your child does, and child labor is bad, and all these things that sound like they respect humanity, right? And then the educated ones, they hear about ideals like democracy, and they think, wow, these are great people. These are people who respect human rights. These are people who see each human life matters. And in a lot of ways, we don't see that in Africa because we're so poor. So there's an admiration for them, but it's unjustified. So that you guys know that I'm really into politics, right? And I know, for example, that China is actually, it's very good for Africa. They've come and they've given us a lifeline with these loans to build infrastructure. And a lot of times they don't even give you the money. You get the loan, but they build infrastructure so nobody can steal the money. They don't attach any conditions.
Mommy, don't let angry Nigerians hear you say that. They're going to beat you.
No, and they don't attach any conditions to these. Hold on, let me finish. They don't attach any conditions to these loans. They don't tell you how to run your country. They don't tell you what economic policy to pursue. They don't tell you what kind of government you should have. Unlike the West, so technically there are better people to do business with. But if you look at the West, what the West does is they give us these loans that end up straight back in their banks the minute they write the check for us, right? Because our leaders steal them. And then they have such high interest rate that Africa has collectively paid trillions of dollars just in interest alone on loans that somebody stole, or they didn't go anywhere, they didn't do anything. And the US feels like because we owe them money, that they can impose certain economic realities on Africa. I don't want to make this a political discussion, but if you want to challenge me on it, suffice it to say, the US is actually a really horrible country that pretends to be your friend while it stabs you in the back. The US is the reason most African countries are wretched. They know that somebody has to be poor for them to keep being rich. They make up less than 20% of the world, but they consume like 80% of its resources. I'm talking about the collective West. But yet Africans trust them. They still believe in their soul that they are better people than the Chinese and the Indians. We just believe that the darker you are, the more likely you're going to be not to respect human rights, which is it's a complete lie that has been sold to us by these people. And this really affects the way I think we see ourselves and we see each other, because we have this spectrum where the lightest people are the kindest and nicest, and the darkest we think are the cruelest and the meanest. And we believe this, and we believe it because of lies that we've been told and a lot of camera trick. I call it cyclops.
So,
Bumi, let me just say something there. I want to say something there. What you have said, well, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I will tell you something. If somebody borrows you money out of their own free will and they ask for increase or what interest, you shouldn't blame them. You shouldn't just blame them. Okay, you shouldn't blame them. If China say, okay, I want to build infrastructure for you and don't determine it, don't get anything back, you shouldn't blame anybody. The problem is we, the Africans ourselves.
No. Mr. H, you're wrong. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry, you're wrong. Trust me, I researched this thing. The US did not just give us money. They didn't give us. It's by design. A lot of people do not know the history of Africa.
Say no. If someone wants to give you money, you can say no. You don't want it.
You can't say no.
Which country will say no to a loan when you not need to develop? Now. You have to develop now. You have to develop. You have to borrow money from somewhere. Even rich countries borrow money. You know how much money the US owes China?
I think what Mr. H is going for is not far-fetched. He's not arguing with what you said. He's not doing that. He's just appealing to what should happen. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, you're right in all your assertions, very right in all your assertions. But here's the biggest problem, and this is where the problem started from. Each and every one of us on this forum right now thinks east and west. Time is calculated east and west. Flying is east and west. In fact, from when we were younger, the bad guy in a movie is either going to be Chinese, Russian, Asian. The good guy is probably going to be white. So at the long run,
thank you for reminding me. I forgot about Hollywood.
So what has happened is we no matter how it is, for me to have this political discussion with anybody, I first of all let you know that you're going to stand on a bias because you're a Western race. Now it takes a long time for you to move you out of there to realize that east or west, they're both seeking for their own interest, which comes to the point where Mr. H was
Absolutely.
talking to her about that at some point, and somebody mentioned it recently. There was the talk
No,
that
no, no. I really decide.
hold
Okay,
on,
I'll let you finish.
there was a talk that Zelensky was going to come to the AU to talk about the war against Russia. And somebody said that at some point we have to realize that Africa cannot be east or west. Africa must maintain its geographical location, which is in the middle, and grow for itself upwards. The biggest
Yeah, but
problem
you
we're
see, this is
having.
the thing. The Chinese are not. They don't want you to do anything. They just saying you want to borrow money, we can borrow you money. Let's do business together.
No,
It
there's
is the
again,
West. It is the West that
again.
wants to be in your business. That wants to tell you how to be. So this idea that we should treat them the same. That we shouldn't bow to either one. No, the other one isn't even asking you to bow to him. It's like we don't want to hear something because it's painful for us to hear. We have been deceived by the West for a very long time, and it's time that we have found the courage to open our eyes to the reality of these people. They are not good people. They are the reason we are poor and wretched. The Chinese are not even approaching us in any way like that. That is why what is going on in the world is such an opportunity for Africa, because finally there's a possibility of creating a multipolar world. A lot of Africans don't understand that what China is pushing back against is exactly what happened to us. It's called shock therapy. You go and Google it. It's what they're doing to us. It's neoliberalism when they tell you to privatize all your industries, deregulate,
again,
impose austerity measures, deflate your currency. All our pains come directly from the US. But they will turn around. No, hold on. Let me finish this. Let me finish this thought. But they'll turn around and we need to understand, they control the narrative, and they have controlled the narrative for a really long time. So this is something that they do at home as well, where they make African Americans look like they're just lazy and they're criminals. This is the same thing they do to Africans. Look at what Mr. H is about to say. He's about to blame us, as Africans. It's our fault. It's our fault. Because this is what we're told, that we're just so corrupt that we can't make headway. That is not the reason. Africa loses less than 5% of its income due to corruption. Do you know that, Mr. H? Did you know that all of these fucking people in the US Congress are corrupt too? You want me to read their rap shit for you? Do you know the stories that are circulating about Biden and his family right now? These people have lied to us our entire existence, and it's a big deal because it is part of why we have internalized the fact that there's something wrong with us being black. We really have to separate ourselves from white thinking and white culture, which we embrace, we love, we trust them. We're so suspicious of the Chinese, but we're not suspicious of white people at all, and they are the biggest deceivers of all.
well, like I said, I'll be honest with you. I'm suspicious of both sides. Now, let me tell you something that can be very interesting. Another angle to your research. China is not taking Africa because China just wants to help. Remember that there was a push from the West that forced China behind the walls, literally. Well, I mean, literally, China closed up for a long time. Now, there's a book called The Rise of the East, and he said something. Remember that if China, hold on, that we should remember that the East was forced into behind the walls, and that if the East comes back out of the walls, the East will never go back. That's what this fight is about. The East is going to come out. They will be power.
Please
They
let
will
me
never
explain
go back.
that to you, because you've
Understand this.
misunderstood that completely. You've misunderstood that completely. What is happening is, for your country to prosper, right? You have to actually close your doors a little bit to the free market, to the global free market, because you cannot develop anything internally if a better version of it exists outside and you're allowed to import it. That's how Western countries developed. When England was developing, it said that they could not import textiles from India. They could not export technology from whoever had it at the time. They closed shop so that they could develop their industries internally. And as a country, you have to. A country is like a person. You have to have, like, a person has to have the job or a way to get income, right? Our countries also need to have a way to get income. This is what it means to be an industrialized country. Is that you have something going on. Maybe you manufacture cars, or maybe it's computer chips, something. But for you to do that, you have to kind of become a little protectionist. But what the West did is that after they did that, they then kicked the ladder off of everyone and said, no, we shouldn't do that. That's not a good thing to do. Let's have free markets, knowing fully well that it will mean that none of our markets would ever develop. China just happened to get away because they allowed China to do it because it was in line with what the capitalists in the West wanted, where they realized that their population, they needed to, they cost too much, labor in the West cost too much, and using China would help them. It was actually, go and do some research about this, you find out it was actually, it was a mistake. They did not intend, hold on, let me finish, please. Please let me finish. They did not intend, hold on, let me finish. They did not intend for China to grow. It was a mistake. You understand?
Please remember
it was
rules.
a mistake, and it's
We
one that they're trying to make sure that we never.
Otherwise, we won't be able to hear each other and make meaningful contributions. Also, because we are live, we need to control our emotions when making our points. No insults, bullying, or any form of intimidation is tolerated. Just make your points and remain blessed as you do. Abby and the viewers would really appreciate your cooperation at this time.
Yes, so welcome back, folks.
We should not make the mistake of thinking that they're the same and that this is an African problem. No, the actual problem is the US, and we should join the countries who are pushing back. Russia, Iran, the BRICS countries that are, I mean, it's a great time to be alive if you people don't realize our freedom is happening right now because of this war in Ukraine. The West is not your friend. Every African really needs to get this in their soul. The West is not your friend. The West is the thing that has been undermining you this whole time.
Okay, so I've gotten signal from Abby to quickly read the comments and round up because we've exceeded our time. I think we have to continue this thought about what the East and the West is offering Africa because it seems like a deep subject. I have things to say too, and I think if I go get into it now, we'll leave here by in the next 7 hours because I have so. You think Bumi has a lot to say? I have a ton of things to say. So we'll push this next week, and I hope that we'll make next week the last episode for this series of the African culture getting extinct. So while we're at it, okay, Bumi is driving, Candy is driving. So Ifeanyi, you're going to read the comments. Are you there, Ifeanyi?
I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready for work. I'm already late, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can read it.
So let me. Sorry. Hello, you said what?
You can read it. You can read it.
Okay, so Cheryl Torres says, I can see you. Okay, I wasn't visible before. Jennifer A says, good evening, everyone. Cheryl Torres says, greetings, Mr. Rond. Yeah, people always greet me. Okay. Then Amen Hotep says, one love. Amen Hotep says, greetings to all viewers and discussants. Cheryl Torres says, greetings, the entire house. Felix, the guy Uzo, the guy formerly known as Felix Peters, says, greetings, everyone. Sherry Torres says, hi, Felix. Uzo, the guy formerly known as Felix Peters, says, hey, Cheryl. Okay, then Amen Hotep says, it's now our generation that is fighting to identify with ourselves as Africans. We are pro-African than our parents. Okay, I don't know. Then Uzo, the guy formerly known as Felix Peters, says the Nigerian music industry is growing at a fast pace, and it's the biggest music industry in Africa. Always was. One thing makes it unique. That is the originality in the act. Yeah, I agree with you. Uzo again, guy formerly known as Felix Peters. We are more accepted globally than we portray our culture. Okay. Same person. The reason why Burna Boy is the rave of the moment is because the Nigerian and African culture is ever relevant in his sound, and that makes it unique and accepted by all. Okay. Amen Hotep says, what we need to do as Africans is to re-educate ourselves and teach ourselves to love who and what we are as Africans. Yeah, Bumi said that. Amen. Hotep again says, the black mind has been enslaved. His culture is fractured, his tradition is shattered, but there's hope for our skin color and names still represent us as Africans. We are slowly coming back. It's
I
really
agree.
optimistic. Yeah. Uzo, the guy formerly known as Felix Pistas again says policy of association and assimilation. He was speaking about the French people when you were talking about French countries. Then Emen Hotep says, what makes one African? Culture, tradition, names that are of African origin, being of the dark complexion, and carrying values as per and of Africans. Okay. Amen. Autumn. Sorry to hear that, Candy. Yeah, Candy is having physiotherapy because she had a whiplash. Somebody rammed into her car. I don't know. Okay, but we should know that anyway. Then Amen. Autumn says, hope Abby is well. Where is she? Okay, yeah. Abby and Abby are suffering from the heat wave crisis in the UK.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, so just like you know how what they where is it willows they call them? You know when pigs go to roll in the willow under the hot sun. They said Abby says she has to soak clothes in buckets and place it on herself to cool down. Then Abby Fast said that she's driving out to go, just to find an open space to cool down, that she can barely breathe. So
Wow.
our thoughts and prayers are with them in the UK because they've had some casualties
I'm so
over this
surprised
heat
by
wave.
these Nigerians that can't deal with a heat wave. What is going on?
Well, so I want to thank everybody that came on today and click the subscribe button and the like button. Please, after the show, Bumi, make sure you click like on the video.
I will.
Mr. H, make sure you click the like. Ifeanyi, make sure you click the like. And Candy, I'm sure you will click the like. So until next time, stay over for the after party. It's goodbye from this side. Abby said, oh yeah, Abby, Abenga, the Wonder Queen, sends her greetings from where she is. Sorry she couldn't make it. So until
I
next
hope she
time,
feels better.
goodbye. Yeah, she will.
Bye. Bye.